Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack artificial intelligence. We're cutting through all the hype to give you the actual skills you need to make AI your personal assistant, your research partner, or even your creative sidekick.
So let's just dive right into the biggest question on everyone's mind whenever AI comes up. You know the one. It's the elephant in the room, so let's get it out of the way right now.
And the short answer is probably not. The real danger isn't that AI is going to replace you. It's being replaced by someone who knows how to use AI. So thinking of it as a threat, that's kind of the wrong way to look at it. It's so much more like getting a superpower for your brain. And to get you there, we've got a really simple roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll talk about what AI actually is. Then, we'll get into the art of talking to it. That's key. After that, we'll see how to generate text and images. And we'll wrap it all up with the best tools for the job and the all-important rules of the road. Okay, section 1. What is AI really? Before we can start using it, we've got to get past all the sci-fi stuff and understand what we're actually working with. Let's build that solid foundation. First thing to clear up, AI is not the same thing as automation. The easiest way to think about it is this. Automation is the muscle. It's awesome at doing the same repetitive task over and over, like filling out a form. But AI is the brain. It can look at information, learn from it, and then make a decision. And it's also way different from a search engine. When you do a Google search, it's like using a library catalog. It points you to a bunch of websites where the answer might be. And AI, though, is more like having a personal research assistant. It actually understands your question and pulls information together to give you a direct answer. Now, for the rest of this explainer, we're going to be focusing on a very specific and honestly a very cool type of AI called generative AI. This is the stuff that can create brand new, totally original content. We're talking things that have never existed before, all from a simple instruction from you, which we call a prompt. And that brings us to what is maybe the most important part of this whole thing. If you want to get amazing results from generative AI, you have to get good at talking to it. This one skill, it's the key that unlocks everything else. Now, this skill has a pretty fancy name, prompt engineering. But seriously, don't let that name intimidate you. It's really just the craft of writing clear, effective instructions to get the AI to give you exactly what you have in mind. And really, it just comes down to this simple 4-step loop. First, know your goal. Then, use specific keywords. Write out your instruction clearly. And then, and this is the most important part, you test what you get back and you tweak your prompt. It's a conversation, not just a one-and-done command. Okay, check this out. This is a super powerful framework that will instantly make your prompts better. You just need to give the AI 5 things: a role to play, the specific result you want, the big picture goal, some context around the request, and any constraints or limits. Seriously, following this structure is a total game changer. It will take your results from meh to wow really fast. Okay, so you've got the prompting skills down. Let's put them to work. In section 3, we're diving into generating text and ideas. This is where AI really starts to feel like a new creative partner. So what does that actually mean day to day? Well, imagine taking a super dense 50-page report and getting a perfect summary in like 10 seconds. Or maybe you're stuck on a project. You can just ask it to brainstorm 20 new ideas for you. From drafting those really tricky emails to getting help with code, it's just an incredible time saver. And getting started couldn't be easier. The big tools out there like ChatGPT and Google Gemini don't have some crazy complicated dashboard to learn. As you can see, it's pretty much just a chat box sitting there waiting for you to type in your first prompt. All right, on to part 4. Everything we just learned about prompting for text, well, the exact same principles apply to creating images. This is where you can literally turn the ideas in your head into stunning original visuals. And this right here, this is the magic of text-to-image AI. An image with all this detail, this mood, this complexity, it just didn't exist a minute ago. It was created from scratch by an AI just based on a written description. It's wild. So how do you get results like that? You have to start thinking like a painter or a film director. Your prompts need to be packed with detail. Don't just say a cat, right? Say a fluffy Persian cat. You can reference art styles, like in the style of Van Gogh. Describe the setting, the mood, even the camera angle. The more descriptive you are, the closer the AI is going to get to that picture you have in your head. Okay, finally, let's talk about tools and rules. Because beyond the huge names you've heard of, there's a whole universe of specialized AI tools out there. But using any of them, well, it comes with a responsibility to be smart and ethical about it. If you have a really specific job to do, chances are there's an AI tool built just for that. For example, if you're a researcher, you can use tools like Elicit to automate finding papers, or, and this is really cool, you can use ChatPDF to basically have a conversation with a document, asking it questions and getting answers instantly.
And as you get started creating, there are really just a couple of key things to keep in mind. The main thing is that these AIs can sometimes hallucinate, which is just a great word for, well, for making things up. So it's always smart to double check any really important facts. Also, just remember that the whole legal world around who owns AI-generated stuff is still being figured out. So it's good to just be aware of that as you go.
So there you have it. We've covered what AI actually is, how to talk to it, and some of the amazing things you can create with it. We've gone from that big, scary question about jobs all the way to the practical skills you can start using today. So really, there's only one question left, and this one's for you. Now that you have the tools, what will you create?